Star Wars Battlefront 2, a game that had one of the worst launches ever.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But thanks to the updates and the hard work of the devs, it turned into something amazing. Just when it finally became the game we all wanted, we should have all known EA isn't that good to us. So DICE shut it down and got to work on Battlefield 2042 instead. And well, that game flopped harder than a stormtrooper trying to hit a target. Players left so fast you would think they just saw Darth Vader walking in the lobby. But while Battlefront 2 was still going strong, fans were begging for a sequel. More heroes, more villains, bigger battles, but instead of making Battlefront 3, EA just left the series in the dust. So today we are gonna imagine what should have happened. If Battlefront 3 was real, who would make the roster? And we're not talking about just a handful of new heroes. Oh no, we got over 50 characters lined up for this roster. From Jedi and Sith to bounty hunters of every era and every faction. So get yourself ready because we got a lot to cover. So let's jump right into it. Starting off with the returning characters from previous Battlefront games. Here's the roster of the last entry in this series, Battlefront 2. And I'll be taking 15 characters from this roster and putting them straight into my wishlist for Battlefront 3. So I'll be taking Boba Fett, Bossk, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, Palpatine, Han Solo, Lando, Leia, Luke Skywalker, Darth Maul, Yoda, General Grievous, Count Dooku, Obi-Wan Kenobi, and of course Anakin Skywalker. So yeah, those are the characters I'm going to be keeping in this game's roster. Anyone else can just get away. The sequel characters, I didn't pick them because there are 50 more characters that I enjoy more. I don't really like the sequel trilogy, but maybe they will be added later on as a DLC. As for the character kits and abilities, I'm going to have them the exact same as they have in Battlefront 2. Obviously they will change, but this video is not going to focus on the kits because we have 50 characters. We will be here forever if I do that. But anyways, let's move on to the new characters. So there's 45 new characters. I'll be starting off with none other than a character that I think a lot of people wanted in Battlefront 2, but never came, sadly, and that is Ahsoka Tano. I would like it to be Season 7 Ahsoka Tano because that's my favorite version of her, but if they would make this game, it would 100% be Ahsoka Tano from the TV show, with multiple costumes, obviously, from different media, but I want the base one, and her kit to be like Ahsoka Tano Season 7. That would mean that you have Anakin Skywalker, the leader of the 501st, and Ahsoka Tano Snips, and of course you can play as the 501st Clone Troopers through customization. You have to have Captain Rex, the captain of the 501st as well. And I think he will be a super fun character to add to this roster. Wait, we have to add some villains to the game also. And let's start off with the two most famous bounty hunters in the Clone Wars era, being obviously Cad Bane and Jango Fett. Jango Fett would be super annoying like his son Boba in Battlefront 2, but I think those two will be a great addition to the Battlefront roster. And if you have Jango Fett, you have to have the guy that ultimately killed him, Mace Windu, Samuel Jackson. The man with the purple saber has to be in this game. So yeah, I think these 5 characters are very good to start off with because they are massive players in the Clone Wars. But anyways, let's continue with the Mandalorian TV show. And I have 2 characters from it. We obviously have Din Djarin the Mandalorian because obviously we'll have the main character in the game. And if you're gonna have the main protagonist in the game, Mandalorian or Din Djarin, you also have to have the antagonist of the series being Moff Gideon. I think those two would be super fun in the game, especially Din Djarin. You would have his ult-like or his special ability, something that you can't damage in with blaster bullets for a couple of seconds. But anyways, let's move on to the Old Republic era. We got Darth Revan and obviously his apprentice Darth Malak. These are fan favorite characters, especially Darth Revan. I don't think anyone dislikes Darth Revan. He's such a cool character. Same with Darth Malak. You have to play KOTOR. I really recommend it. But if you're gonna have these 2 characters, you would also have to have Bastila Shan, who is very important to the KOTOR story. And she will probably be most likely a support character, Darth Revan being attacker and Malak an attacker or a tank like he is in the mobile game Galaxy of Heroes, but I don't really know about that. I don't want to focus on that. And if you're gonna have Bastila Shan, you might as well throw in her daughter, Satele Shan, from the Star Wars The Old Republic game, or SWTOR. And I know they both have a double-sided lightsaber, but I would like Bastila Shan to be a support character, giving everyone a buff with their abilities, and Satele Shan being more agile and attacking threat. And of course, if you're gonna have Satele Shan, you also have to have her main enemy, Darth Malgus, who is such a tough character, being more like Darth Vader in the design than Darth Revan and obviously Darth Malak. But I really need these characters because I love the Old Republic. That's probably one of my favorite eras in all of Star Wars. So these are a must-have for me. But since we are on the video game aspect of Star Wars, let's take a look at two other characters I want. And one of them has to be Starkiller, because who doesn't like Starkiller? He's such a fun character and he would be so powerful in this game, obviously with his lightning, his back-wielding lightsaber, and just his force powers in general. He will probably be one of the hardest characters in this game to play as. And also, we have Cal Kestis, who is more of a newer character, but still a fantastic character in the Fallen Order series. And I think we need to have Cal Kestis. He's such a fan-favorite character, so I think he must be in this game. And the 30th character in this roster, just to finish off the row before I show it to you, is one of my favorite Jedi, and is a very unique character. It's Plo Koon, who I think would be a similar to Count Dooku, obviously having Force Judgment, which is the light side version of Force Lightning. So I think he will be a very interesting character in this game. But yeah, Plo Koon. So as you can see, here are the first 30 characters in my Star Wars Battlefront 3 wishlist. There are still 20 upcoming characters to be named, so let's move on right into them. So let's move on back to the Old Republic era with the Sith Trinity: Darth Traya, Darth Sion, and Darth Nihilus, who are all amazing characters. Such a fun design of characters and ideas. So with Darth Sion, I think one of his abilities has to be that if you kill him the first time, you have to kill him twice. Like Wolverine, if you have played Marvel Rivals, he gets below 0% health, he gets a little bit of health back, because Darth Sion gets in rage mode and then he revives himself. But yeah, again, if you haven't played any of the games from the Old Republic's era, do yourself a favor and go play them right now. And since we are naming a bunch of Sith, let's continue that trend and start naming the biggest Sith name, the one and only Darth Bane, who invented the rule of two. Such an important character in the Star Wars lore, and I think he would be super fun. I want him to have the axe that he has in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, because that would be so different, and I want to have these characters different from each other, not the same. And keeping up with the Sith trend, we have Darth Vitiate, who is one of the most powerful characters in Star Wars lore, the Emperor of the Sith in the Old Republic era. We also have to have his son, Arkan, who is also has one of the coldest designs ever in Star Wars. So yeah, those two have to be in the game. And sticking with the Old Republic era, my final character from the Old Republic, I promise, is Karth Onasi from the KOTOR game. Obviously, he's the captain of the Ebon Hawk, and I think he will be such a fun character to play with the dual pistols. In general, we also just need more gun characters in, because I've mainly named saber or lightsaber characters. So yeah, as it stands now, this is the roster. We currently have 47 characters, so 13 more. Let's continue. Since Captain Rex was added, and obviously he will be working with Anakin Skywalker and Commander Ahsoka, we also need Commander Cody, CC2224, the commander of the 212th Attack Battalion that Obi-Wan Kenobi leads in both the Clone Wars and the Revenge of the Sith movie, has to be in this game. But now we have named two characters who don't use a lightsaber. Let's move on back to the saber characters, and we got to name Kit Fisto, the Smiling Jedi, who is one of my personal favorite Jedis of all time. Love this character. And then we have the Conehead Kyanti Munti, who is not a really popular character because a lot of people actually hate his character overall. But I think he will be a fun design. He was in the original Battlefront 2 game, so yeah, why not bring him back? So yeah, here's the first 40 characters. We have 10 more incoming. So let's just start naming them off. Let's go back into Legend Star Wars with Luke Skywalker's girlfriend, Mara Jade, who, yeah, I want her to be like a switching from blaster to lightsaber with different stances. And if we're gonna have Mara Jade, we have to have the character from Here to the Empire, the main villain, Grand Admiral Thrawn, who is such a cold and cool character and definitely deserves a spot in this roster. So yeah, since there are 25 light side characters and 25 dark side characters, we have 4 of each to be named, and we are going to name them now, starting off with the 4 lightsaber characters. The one and only Qui-Gon Jinn has to be in this list. I put him in way too late. He's one of the most important characters in Star Wars, and it's such a shame that he wasn't in Battlefront 2. Joining him is also Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger. Ezra Bridger would have a gun lightsaber, that design of Ezra Bridger, because I want it to be different, and Kanan Jarrus would be a very tanky character, just defense. The last character in the light side has to be Kal Katarn from Jedi Outcast and Jedi Academy. Obviously such a fun character, obviously great games, you have to play them. The old Star Wars games are all fantastic. Kal Katarn switching between his blaster and his lightsaber would be a very tricky character, and also just a very fun character in general. So yeah, here is the roster with every single light side characters. 4 more characters to go who are all dark side. So let's move on. Since Kanan Jarrus and Ezra Bridger get to be in the game, we have to name the Grand Inquisitor. He also has to be a part of this game. His double-sided lightsaber spinning around would be a difficult thing to adapt in the game, but that's for the devs, not myself. And I hear you all wanting more characters from the Clone Wars, so I put in Asajj Ventress and Savage Opress, who would obviously be fun characters to have in this game. And the final character in this roster, the 50th character, is obviously the first main villain in Star Wars general of all time, being Grand Moff Tarkin. Obviously, the main villain from the first Star Wars movie who started it all has to be in this game. Why is he not in Battlefront 1 or Battlefront 2? But yeah, here's the roster, you can see him. Let me know down in the comment section down below which characters you want in the game, and maybe I'll make a part 2, who knows. But before this video ends, I wanted to talk about one thing. In this game, I want it to be a team up mechanic. So if you play with these different characters like the 501st, Ahsoka Tano, Captain Rex, and Anakin Skywalker, they get a little boost in ability stats or whatever, maybe another ability. But yeah, I think that would be such a fun design in this game. It works well in Marvel Rivals, so why not Battlefront 3? So yeah, that's about it for this video. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section down below. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And thanks for watching. I'll see you all later. Goodbye.